You know, it was a lot of drama this summer. There's Aaron Rodgers arriving in Green Bay finally with his little man bun to finally report to training camp. We had no idea what was going to happen this summer. You had Aaron Rodgers in Hawaii, cliff diving. You had the Packers not sure if their MVP quarterback would even return for this season. A lot of back and forth. But now our NFL insider Jonathan Jones confirming Rodgers and the Packers nearing an agreement to keep him in Green Bay for this upcoming season with a potential 2022 departure. Here are the reported details of the new deal. Of course, returning for the season. His 2023-year deal, that would be voided, and the Packers and Rodgers would review this situation at the end of the season. Let's welcome in NFL insider Jonathan Jones, who's been very busy over the past 24 hours or so. JJ, here we are. We see Aaron Rodgers showing up with his backpack and his flip-flops, ready for training camp. I mean, what's the latest you can tell us? But then also just looking ahead to the season, what can we expect now?
Yeah, he's really relaxed. Relaxed looking, it appears, wearing an office shirt themed like old NBA jams. Like nothing even happened. Oh, that off season when I made all that noise. Hey guys, I'm here. What's up? That's what it signals to me. That's what today signaled. We knew that yesterday afternoon that he was going to show up in Green Bay, showed up in Green Bay late last night, and there he is today. So should be business as usual on the field for Aaron Rodgers, the reigning NFL MVP. We're still waiting to find out just how close they are to officially putting pen to paper on this deal, and that's something I'm going to be continuing to monitor today and through the week. But we should see Aaron Rodgers out there, and again, acting as though nothing happened. But something has happened, and concessions have been and will be made. And Amanda, you touched on it there earlier, obviously voiding the 2023 season in Aaron Rodgers' contract. They're going to review the situation after this season, but if Aaron Rodgers isn't much happier, and much happier would mean a trip to the Super Bowl, perhaps. I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to not be a Green Bay Packer in 2022. He will then be traded to a team ultimately of his choosing. The Green Bay Packers will get a nice trade package in the form of draft picks in return for Aaron Rodgers, and they will be moving on with Jordan Love or insert quarterback to be named later in 2022. So that's what's happening right now with the Green Bay Packers, and we're going to keep monitoring it.
All right, monitoring that, reviewing that at the end of the season, but let's talk about Davante Adams. Trying to sign him to an extension, of course. There was word, hey, look, these two sides not coming to an agreement. Now he's really upset with the Packers. Then, of course, when Aaron Rodgers shows back up, okay, maybe we'll talk again. What's the latest there? Do you think they can actually get that deal done, or is this another wait and see?
Yeah, funny how that worked out, right, Amanda? It's like, hey, we're going to break off talks right at the time that a bunch of noise is happening with Aaron Rodgers and his future with the Green Bay Packers. Davante Adams, we're way far off. We're in a bad place. Then they collaborate and post on Instagram the photo of Jordan and Pippen and this last dance. And then the news comes out that, hey, Rodgers is actually going to come back. And then, oh, what do you know, Davante Adams, yeah, I'll take a deal. We'll talk. We're going to see what ultimately happens with that, because Davante Adams wants to be paid like the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. That's going to cost the Green Bay Packers about $25 million per year, an average annual salary, to eclipse DeAndre Hopkins' deal and extension with the Arizona Cardinals. So it's a matter of what Davante Adams wants. Does he want to be the highest paid wide receiver? Because if so, the Green Bay Packers rightfully will want to keep Davante Adams here in the back end of his prime. And so that would mean 4 or 5 years. But if he wants to tie himself a little bit to Aaron Rodgers, or rather doesn't want to tie himself to the uncertainty of the quarterback position in Green Bay, what sort of deal can he and the Packers work out? Right now, he is paid far less than he is worth in the NFL. With all due respect to the Adam Thielens and the Cooper Kupps and the Robert Woods of the world, Davante Adams should be paid a higher average annual salary than those guys. He should be in the $20 to $22 million echelon, right there with Keenan Allen and Julio Jones. And so is he going to be able to get that on a short-term deal with the Green Bay Packers? You know, one can reasonably argue, why would the Packers do that? Why would they pay him a whole bunch of money just to be in this same situation 2 years from now? So we'll see if they are willing to make him the highest paid wide receiver he's going to have to give them some years. And if he doesn't want that, then I think that maybe there's some incentives that are baked into his current deal, and he can find himself as free, if not freer, than Aaron Rodgers, either this upcoming season or the next one.
That's what's going on there in Green Bay. We got Seahawks training camp also beginning this week. Report today, Jamal Adams and the Seahawks not close at all on a deal for their star safety, of course, entering the final year of his rookie deal. But this one, JJ, doesn't seem as much of a stressful situation, not really sweated out. What can you tell us?
You know, when you trade, like the Seattle Seahawks did, 2 first-round picks and a player for Jamal Adams, you're kind of stuck because you gave up a whole lot for him. You obviously knew that you were going to sign him to an extension. He knows that you were going to sign him to an extension, and you can't lose him for nothing. If this is the last year of that deal, you ultimately have to pay him. So Jamal Adams does have leverage like that, and we saw it a couple of years ago with Laramie Tunsil and the Houston Texans, how that worked out. For Jamal Adams, he obviously wants to be paid and will be paid like the highest safety in the NFL, and that means eclipsing the number of Justin Simmons, which is around $15.25 million per year, again, an average annual salary. The issue here for the Seattle Seahawks is that Jamal Adams is not just any safety, as we see him up there blitzing and becoming the defensive back with the most sacks in a season. He does a lot more than just being your average run-of-the-mill safety, a position that has been devalued in the NFL. And so because of that, he wants to be paid like more than a safety. He wants to be paid sort of like a linebacker. And what did just happen last week? Well, Fred Warner just got paid like the highest paid linebacker in the NFL, $19 million per year. What's going to happen in a week or 2 or 3? Darius Leonard of the Indianapolis Colts will eclipse that and probably $19.1, million per year. And so now Jamal Adams, that's a big gulf right there between $15.3 million per year, let's say, to beat out Justin Simmons and become the highest paid safety, and $19.1 to beat out Fred Warner. Seattle Seahawks are saying, hold on now, we're not going to pay you $19 million per year here. Bobby Wagner is only making $18 million per year only, right? And so that's where the two sides are. And the more that number keeps increasing around the league, the more that Darius Leonard, or rather the faster that Darius Leonard makes himself the highest paid linebacker in the NFL, well, what we are then going to see is the price might even go up for Jamal Adams if he's not already anticipating that right now in contract negotiations. So it's not a surprise necessarily that these two sides aren't close right now, because when you get to the bargaining table, Jamal Adams is right and has his right to set his number very high. But as we get closer to the start of the season, and as Jamal Adams starts to play some real football, right, where injury risk becomes greater and you want more protection for your future, that's when his number starts to come down. And that's when Seattle probably comes up a little bit, and they'll meet somewhere in the middle, maybe around $16.5 million per year. That would be my guess as it stands today, but no reason really to believe that a deal is imminent between the two sides.
JJ, we're going to go coast to coast here. Let's head to the Dolphins camp. We have now seen Xavien Howard reporting to camp after skipping OTA, skipping minicamp. He has some hefty fines now. Of course, this has to do with displeasure regarding his existing contract. He wants a new deal, a whole lot more money. He's now shown up, so what can we expect here?
Well, he could hold in, right, Amanda? And we've talked about this a lot with Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. In the NFL today, based off the collective bargaining agreement that players agreed to and signed off on last year, if you are no longer under your rookie contract, if you're on your second or third deal, you can no longer hold out of training camp and incur no penalties, or incur penalties, but the team can wipe them away. These are mandatory $50,000 a day fines. And so if Xavien Howard didn't show up because he was displeased with his contract, well, he's going to keep losing money. And so by virtue of showing up today, he keeps $50,000 in his pocket, and he will continue doing that as the days go along, as we see him there reporting today to training camp. See, what happened with Xavien Howard was at $15.1 million a year when he signed that deal, he became the highest paid cornerback in terms of average annual value. it's natural that guys start to eclipse him. That's the way of the world, or at least of the NFL world. And you can argue whether he is better or worse than the 5 guys ahead of him, but certainly, hey, Byron Jones, your teammate, making $1.4 million more in average annual salary when you just became the first cornerback or defensive back in the NFL in more than a decade with at least double-digit interceptions in a season. Yeah, you're going to want to be paid more, but the issue here is when he got his deal just a couple of years ago to become the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, well, he didn't get a whole lot of guaranteed money. And when he didn't get that much guaranteed money, not only did he not get a whole lot, but it wasn't spread over a number of years. And so guarantees are about to run out. And Xavien Howard says, listen, not only am I coming off a career year where I was the best defensive player for this Dolphins team, where I should be paid at least like that, but, you guys want to lock me down a little bit more. I deserve more money. And the Dolphins are saying, listen, we still have you under contract for a couple more years. We just signed that deal a couple years ago. Maybe you should have taken less on average annual salary so that you didn't have that sort of mantle as highest paid corner like he really wanted, and he and his representation focused just a little bit more on the actual structure of the deal. That's what a couple of agents I've spoken to over the past couple of weeks have talked to me about. So I don't know if the Dolphins blink on this because there's a precedent involved with this. That's not at all to say that Xavien Howard doesn't deserve to be paid like one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, like he is, coming off the season that he is. But if you're the Dolphins, you have very, very little reason to restructure this deal for Xavien Howard, besides maybe a couple of incentives, maybe throwing him a little bit more money. He's there, and that's really going to be that for Xavien Howard.
JJ, that's what's going on at training camps across the country. But of course, you're our NFL insider, and you've got some under the radar position battles that you're looking at. And for this one, we're heading to the Cowboys. What can you tell us? What are you keeping an eye on?
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys, you can look at the tight end position there. You can look at a couple of various things there with the Dallas Cowboys as they get that offensive line back. We know what they're going to be doing there at wide receiver. But what the position that I am looking at right now is the free safety position. Xavier Woods is left, and now you have DeMonte Casey versus Jaron Kearse. And this is one where Casey used to play for Dan Quinn with the Atlanta Falcons. He is about 10 months removed from a torn Achilles, so he should be okay. He returned to OTAs, but he's still going to have his snaps monitored. Meanwhile, Kearse is coming off the most action of his career last season with Detroit, a 5-year veteran. Also, the Cowboys drafted a versatile defensive back, Israel Mukamura, out of South Carolina, so he could get some snaps there. I'm looking there at the free safety position for the Dallas Cowboys.
Our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, thanks so much for joining us here on HQ. Busy time already around the NFL during training camp. All right, taking a look. We are going on a training camp tour here on CBS Sports HQ today. We have got former Steeler, 2-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. He's out there with the Steelers. Already says, look, if he could still play, he got up at like 6 a.m. this morning. He wants to play, but he's going to give us the latest there. Tomorrow, we are headed to Oxnard for the Cowboys. Then we got the Ravens on Thursday along with the Eagles. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.